Hello, this is a guide for the Mercenary Ragares. I'll be going over how the Mercenary works, how to build them, but most importantly how to use them. Ragares is an Exalted Rarity supporter with a specific classification of her being a core support. Ragares supports the next ally with her AoE tiles being a 3x3 box. I'll now talk about her skills at max rank. Her first skill is named Demon of Fate. This skill makes Ragares unkillable for moderate duration. However, if Defender attacks her, Ragares dies instantly. Damage methods such as Extinction or effects that ignore immortality skill types such as Ida's damage delay will also kill her. Her second skill is named Irresistible Power. When the battle begins, Ragares prohibits all allies from receiving stat enhancement skill types such as Merry's Provisional HP or Mary's Veil of Melody. Also, I know this sounds obvious, but I should emphasize that Ragares' prohibition allows for the application of non-stat enhancement skill types such as Mary White's Revive, Guard and Debuff Immunity, Rise Immortality, as well as Mary's Song of Victory. However, you can actually still apply stat enhancement skills through Ragares' prohibition as long as they activate when the battle begins. For example, Freyla's Provisional HP applies when the battle begins, but at the same time, Ragares' prohibition also applies when the battle begins. Therefore, the following interaction applies. If you place Freyla behind or below Ragares, Freyla will not gain a provisional HP due to Ragares blocking it. However, if you place Freyla in front or above Ragares, Freyla will gain a provisional HP. This interaction is due to Brave Knight's priority system, and I won't be explaining it in this video as that would take a while. This is meant to be a mercenary review after all. I'll probably make another video in the future to explain these Brave Knight technicalities. Overall, all you need to know is that if you want to use Ragares with a mercenary that has a stat enhancement skill, you have two options. Option 1 is that you have to make sure that their skill activates when the battle begins as well, and place them above or in front of Ragares. And the second option is that you have to make sure that the stat enhancement skill ignores prohibition effects, such as Rise Offensive stat boost buff. Her third skill is named Demon Hand Bestowal. Ragares will grant allies she supports with the Demon Hand buff, so you can bestow this buff to allies 4 times in a single battle before running out. The Demon Hand buff will cause allies to remove buff skill types and deal additional HP consume damage when they attack. Do note that when the game calculates damage, Ragares' HP consume damage is the last one that applies, so mercenaries such as Alec who don't have a multi-attack will sometimes leave an immortality enemy on 1 HP. One more thing that I should add is that this buff can be removed by nullifiers and blocked by buff prohibition. I'll talk more about this in a pros and cons section. Her fourth skill is named Healing Band Aura. Before Ragares' turn ends, she'll apply Heal Band to all enemies which cannot be ignored, though currently 2 mercenaries can actually ignore this Heal Band, Grandhilder and Seto. Heal Band prevents the enemy from receiving any healing, so in context this is meant to mainly counter Lucius. One more note that I should add is that Ragares' Heal Band only activates if you have 4 or more alive warriors on your team, else it won't activate. For my recommendation as to what skill level your Ragares should be, since she's an Exalted Mercenary, it makes it so that she works completely fine at +0. However, some notable skill spikes are her +1 as it increases the duration of her immortality to reliably last the entirety of the first round. Her +2 is also solid as it highly increases the duration of her damage boost, making it reliably last throughout the entire combat. +3 is also a nice upgrade as it increases the HP consume damage dealt by allies, though +7 is her strongest skill spike as it maxes out the duration of her immortality, now allowing her immortality to still mostly be active during the second round rather than usually ending on the first round. And finally, her +9 is nice as it maxes out the HP consume damage allies deal. In my opinion, I would recommend you to get Ragares' skill level to at least +1 as it's quite valuable for how cheap it is. If you want to get higher skill levels on her, +7 is a solid stopping point since it will not only upgrade her HP consume damage, but more importantly max out her immortality skill. Her +8 and beyond aren't necessary in my opinion. For runes, the optimal setup would be to run 2 defense runes, both with a subset of crit rate. Additionally, both runes should be at minimum 6-star runes with epic plus rarity, as well as their stats being equal to or higher than the ones presented on screen. For a mythic rune, the optimal setup would be to run 2 defense main sets with a defense subset, though don't worry if you don't have this subset, it's not make or break. For Insignia of Creed, I wouldn't recommend getting them as it's quite expensive 900 diamonds per slot, and insignias aren't necessary for her to perform well. However, if you do have the diamonds to burn, then her insignia should be the following: Touch of Angel, Instinct, Small Comfort, and for the last 2 slots, any of the following 2 works. For soul gear, I would highly recommend leveling them all up to be level 10 just for that 1 additional skill level, as exalted skill books are kinda hard to come by. Additionally, I also recommend upgrading your amulet to level 25 and have its stats refined to double defense. On that note, ensure that your Ragares' defense is greater than or equal to 100%. If not, you can do one or more of the following: ability to refine her regular runes, upgrade her mythic rune, or get insignias. Pick the choice that is most cost effective for you, but honestly, if getting 100% defense is too expensive for you, you can forego doing it. It's completely fine. For rank boosting Ragares, I would highly recommend it as it would increase her support power by a solid amount, which in turn increases the amount of damage boost Ragares provides to all her allies. Ragares' main purpose is to counter Riot and enemies that rely on HP restraint. She does this by bestowing allies with her Demon Hand Bestowal buff. Overall, Ragares is a flexible enough support to work either in a mage team or a warrior team. However, she works a little better in a warrior team due to her 4th skill only activating with a warrior requirement. Now for her pros and cons. For pros, Ragares' first skill giving her an unremovable immortality makes her literally impossible to kill using warriors and mages. More often than not, this causes many common slayers to get stuck fighting her. Additionally, even though her immortality is technically countered by defenders, in practice it's not really always the case. The only threatening defenders that actually pose a danger to Ragares is Lane, Lucius, and sometimes Pyron, only because they are often ran in PvP. But honestly, as long as you put her in a decent enough spot, she'll most likely be fine. Another pro is that even though Ragares' second skill will most likely be the only damage boost active on the field, it's likely sufficient enough to enable Slayers to still do their job. And even though it's a prohibition effect, it still allows other supporters to provide their unique utility. For example, Rai can still give her immortality and I guess her damage boost, Mary White can still provide a revive and death guard, and finally Mary can still give her turn pass to warriors. Ragares' demon hand buff is also quite strong, as HP consume damage would counter HP restraint enemies such as AoG Ida, and the buff removal will allow allies to remove Rai's immortality buff. Ragares also synergizes quite well with multi-attacking mercenaries with high base attack, as they can proc her HP consume damage multiple times in a single turn. And lastly, Ragares applying heal ban is meant to counter Lucius, enabling several mercenaries to one-shot him. However, some cons are that her AoE tiles aren't amazing, making her a bit awkward to use sometimes. It's not terrible, don't get me wrong, but her AoE tiles are not Rai or Mary White levels of amazing. Another con is that her immortality maxes out at +7, which is quite expensive to get. Thankfully, she is still completely usable at +1, but still, +7 is quite the investment to make. Additionally, even though I said that Ragares' prohibition effect still allows supporters to apply their critical utility skills, she still has some anti-synergy with certain mercenaries. I'll talk more about this in their synergy section. For Ragares' demon hand buff, one of the cons is that it could be removed by nullifiers, and allies that have buff provision can be blocked from receiving it. The other con of demon hand buff is that HP consume damage has low attack scalings, making the HP consume damage not as effective on mercenaries such as Eleni or Agni, both who have a very low attack stat. Also, even though she has a heal ban aura, it's a bit difficult to use in arena as you kinda just have to hope that you hit a Lucius while he has a heal ban on him. In other words, you just kinda have to be a bit lucky to utilize her heal ban in arena. Though in Guild War, this issue is not as relevant, as a more controlled setting in that game mode makes it significantly easier to take advantage of her heal ban. And lastly, Ragares has no immunities, which makes her vulnerable to CC effects such as Kaladi's Charm, Velvet's Stun, or Indra's Burn. For some synergies, Ragares works quite well with pretty much anyone, however she is notably good to pair with Slayers that both have a high base attack and a multi-attack. This is because they can proc her HP consume damage multiple times and avoid its low scaling due to their high base attack. Mercenaries of this category include Diane, Dione, Islok, and Apollo. Diane might be a bit of a weird pick here because she does have a low base attack, but her ability to go thrice in a single turn makes up for it, especially when paired with Venus. You know, speaking about Venus actually, Ragares can also pair well with Venus on the team as she can allow Slayer to go twice, which in turn procs Ragares' HP consume twice. This combo is especially deadly when Venus supports a Diane or Dione. Also interestingly, Ragares also synergizes well with Lane and Pyron due to her damage boost, enabling both of them to be potential damage threats. They can also be an even bigger damage threat if they receive her demon hand buff. As I said previously, most supporters can still provide their utility skills even when Ragares is present. These supporters include Ride, Mary White, and Mary. Keep in mind that Ragares provides no defensive utility to Slayers, therefore I highly recommend having a Ride on the team to keep your Slayers safe. Additionally, even though Ragares blocks Ida's Blessed buff, due to Ida having AoG and the regeneration barrier, she's still a decent roadblock tank to have on the team. Now, after all those synergies, don't forget that Ragares still prevents some mercenaries from receiving the stat enhancement skills, resulting in Ragares having anti-synergy with them. These mercenaries include Michaela and Noble Sacrifice Ida, as Ragares prevents the Noble Sacrifice Ida from receiving Michaela's Sacrifice buff. Ragares also prevents HFC Islok from receiving his provisional HP, making him significantly less tanky. Additionally, if you put a Freyla behind or below a Ragares, you will not gain a provisional HP, making her comically easy to kill. For some good matchups, Ragares pretty much counters every single warrior and mage due to her immortality keeping her alive. However, do note that her immortality will likely end when the second round of battle starts, making her significantly easier to kill. Additionally, she also counters HP restraint enemies and Right due to her demon hand buff. And lastly, Ragares also counters Lucius due to her heal ban aura, making him critically vulnerable to getting one-shot. Now onto her counters. Mercenaries that counter Ragares include Valtor and maybe even Momnir purely because of their nullifier counter, which can easily remove the demon hand buff. Additionally, Helga can also counter Ragares as her buff prohibition can prevent the application of her demon hand buff. A more direct counter to Ragares herself is Lane and Pyron, as they are both defenders that can instantly kill Ragares while being able to turn pass to allies. Though honestly, Lucius and really any other defender can work to still kill Ragares. Just remember that only Lane and Pyron have turn pass. Furthermore, Angel with his unremovable immortality can still cause an HP restraint mercenary to still live on 1 HP. To avoid this counter, pair Ragares with a multi-attacker to proc the HP consume damage multiple times. And lastly, enemies that have a guard will ignore the HP consume damage. Common threats of this category include Claudia, Wester's Black Knight, and enemies buffed by Mary White. In my opinion, Ragares shines the most when attacking in Guild War, as her demon hand buff is an amazing counter to many common Guild War mercenaries. She counters Riot, AoG Ida, and Lucius, all of which are commonly ran in defense formations. Furthermore, when attacking in Guild War, Ragares' vulnerability to defenders can easily be avoided with good positioning. I would give her an S rank in Guild War if she's attacking. However, if she's in a defense formation, she becomes a lot less appealing to use due to her anti-synergy with HSV, Islok, and Freyla, as well as being more easily taken out by defenders. Therefore, she only gets an A rank if she's defending. And lastly, in the regular arena, she gets an S rank due to her immortality and demon hand buff, both being very useful in that PvP format. And finally, the most important question of all, should you build Ragares? My answer is yes, but with a caveat. It's important that I mention that Ragares is not a replacement to Mary White. She's instead more of a side grade. Comparing the two, Mary White is easier to use and more defensive oriented, while Ragares is a bit more awkward to use but more offensive oriented. However, if you're looking to build Ragares, rest assured she is good. Really, really good. Her utility of being basically invincible in the first round as well as her strong demon hand buff is extremely valuable to have. Though I wouldn't recommend getting Ragares as your first Exalted Mercenary as she doesn't provide any defensive utility to the team. I would actually recommend you to get Ride first as her immortality is extremely powerful despite Ragares existing. In short, if you're planning on getting Ragares, get Ride first, and then get Ragares. And that's all. Make sure you check the comments if I made any changes to this guide, but other than that, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer them. Thanks for watching.